Hey everybody, this is David at Barnyard Bees. Want to do a little winter update. It's January 18th, and I want to show you how strong some of our winter nucs are. It's about 55 degrees. The bees are out flying real good, and they look really good. We'll go here, check a few of them out, and show you how they're doing. Here's one of our two framers. Still going strong through the winter, looking good. Kind of excuse the mess in the bee yard. I got a lot of maintenance out here to do. I got to go through and clean up some of these nucs because when you do splits on bees in the fall, not all of them take, and some of them was even before that just never got, they never took on good. So we got to go through some of these. Not many of them. There's some you can see where I got the lid turned sideways, and the reason I turned the lid sideways is to keep the wax moths out. And I'll go through and we'll melt down the wax that's left. And people say, well, why are you worried about the wax moth if you're going to melt it down? Well, you still don't want them in the box. So, you know, we'll turn it sideways. We'll go through there, and usually what I do, I'll cut off, like for example, here's one right here. It's a pretty nasty looking frame. And regardless of what people tell you, this is what I'm going to tell you. You can believe what you want. We will cut this down and leave just a little bit of wax on the very, very top of it. I've never had any problems with bees building them out or by spreading diseases or wax moths eggs being left inside. I don't believe that. I don't believe wax moths leave their eggs inside that from overwinter. And especially a lot of these that are sitting out unprotected and unheated throughout the winter, anything that's in them is froze and dead. So any old wax you have like that, those frames, I don't have many wooden ones sitting out. Like, I don't want everybody to think I got wooden. That's just a random. Most of what I have sitting out, there's a few plastic ones, but cut that out and leave a little remnant of wax on the top and put it back in the hive, and they'll draw it out like crazy, no problem. The bees here in this hive look really, really good, and they're like that down through there. It's a good day. Like I said, they're flying really well. Like I said, please excuse the mess. Here's where was that one two framer I showed you up there? Here's another two framer. Looks like a lot of bees in there. And we're what is it? I already told you, January 18th. So the bees are looking really strong. As you heard in my previous videos about the pollen, I'm a big believer in feeding pollen year round. There's a lot of beekeepers that'll back me up with that. And because I believe it keeps them strong, and you'll have bees like you wouldn't believe coming out of the winter with incredible strength. You got to keep a balance though with them. Make sure because they will increase. It will make that queen increase a little bit, not like it will in the spring. A lot of people will say, well, it'll make her lay so much, and then when you get a cold snap, everything will get chill brood and died. It doesn't increase them that much because there's other factors in except just artificial pollen coming in. There's the length of the days, for example, the balance of the hot and the cold back and forth. It doesn't bring her up to full throttle, trust me, it does not. Some people may think that, but it just doesn't. It'll increase them some, but just enough to give them a lot of strength coming out of winter that you'll have some incredibly strong nucs. These are all single nucs. Some of them are stronger than others. Some of them didn't make it. But the ones that didn't make it are the ones that actually didn't make the splits when we done the splits. So they just never did, you know, the queen that late. We did a lot of mated queens, and some of them we did with that late in the year, experimenting with some queen cells and some virgin queens. Well, that late in the year, probably not a good idea to experiment with virgin queens and queen cells, but we're always pushing the limits and trying this and trying that. So here's another little 2-frame. It's got some bees in it, and these are all single. If you noticed, I don't have any doubles out here. These are all singles. So we got a cold snap coming this weekend. It's going to be I think in the high teens. Not bad. It's been that cold already a few times, so not too bad. But anyway, keep your bees. Make sure that you got feed. I call it insurance, the dry sugar that you put in. I just call it insurance for the bees. It's just in case. It just supplements their already stored honey supplies that you should have. That, you know, feeding late in the fall, as we do splits, we feed as much as possible, so they'll pack in enough sugar water or honey to get them through the winter. So that's what you want. But the sugar that you can go back and watch a previous video where I put it either in the hive top feeder, or you can actually lay a newspaper or a paper towel down on your frames, pour it. A lot of people believe in doing that method, and that's fine, but just get some sugar in your hives. Now remember, these bees are supposed to be really mean and aggressive this time of year. And not saying I won't get stung, it's possible. Who wears sandals in January, I know. I don't have a veil, I don't have a bee suit or anything, and I'm walking down in between the angry winter bees. Now I understand that some people's bees are mean and aggressive. I understand that. It's just we're extremely lucky with our bees. Extremely lucky. I mean, this is, if you can see me on the video, this is all I got on. T-shirt, shorts, sandals, and we're just really lucky with our bees. They're really, really good stock and gentle. Wintertime, the reason that they are so aggressive, you got to understand, it's in their genetics, in their instinct to be aggressive. Because if they wasn't, think about this, if something gets into a hive in spring or in summertime, they can't escape and go somewhere else, swarm in a tree and start another colony. If it happens now, what do? They're done. Because they will probably go to a tree and swarm until they get froze at night. So I just, they gotta be mean this time of year. Now, mine are as friendly as far as just walking out like this in the winter time, but I can promise you, if I get in the hives, they probably would be a little bit fussy. I won't fib to you, they'll be a little bit fussy if I got in there, but not bad, because the strain of bees is really good. We can't complain about them. I just noticed there are some of the bees. Look at that red pollen right there coming in. Look at that bright red. That's not from my pollen feeder, I can assure you. I noticed some dandelions blooming. Our red maple has not started blooming yet, but they'll find it. They'll find some pollen out there somewhere. We got some henbit that's starting to come up. I've noticed there last week, so there's no telling where they're getting it from, because right now I've run out of pollen. I got to get down to the store and get me some pollen, because we are completely out. But I am feeding some sugar water over there, and I'll show you that feeder. And they're pretty busy on it. You see me talk about this before. It's a 2 to 1 or 2.5 to 1, pretty thick. I'm surprised it even come out the little holes. So it's doing really good. Some hives up here. I gotta hurry up and wrap this up. I gotta run and get my daughter from school. And there's a little 5-frame medium that we don't usually run mediums. We had some customers that want some last year, and then some of them changed their mind, so we end up just keeping them ourselves. So that one's pretty busy. Not a lot of movement in that one. There's a little bit there, a little bit of movement here. Here's another one of our 2-framers. January 18th. They're still alive. I told you guys in previous videos about, you know, experiment with those 2-framers and see if you can get some through the winter. Some places you can, some you can't. It probably just depends, because they'll have a smaller cluster, a smaller area to keep warm, and less honey that they need and less pollen that they need. So, you know, I may end up with a baseball size cluster by spring, but hey, if they live and they start increasing by spring, and by the time the red maple comes out and you start feeding heavily with sugar water, they'll take off, and really, really fast. These overwintered Nucs, I'm telling you, they come spring, they're like monsters. They take off like crazy. They do so good. And we'll start splitting these, well, probably within well, here in about a month, we'll start putting sugar water to them. So about mid-February, maybe a little bit earlier this year, just depends. We'll watch the forecast for the month and see how it looks. Somebody wrote me about the red maple just south of here that's been blooming already, down below Atlanta. And he was wanting to know, he said, hey, can I go ahead and start putting sugar to it? And I said, well, it kind of surprised me, because I didn't think already that would be, and we usually use that as a guideline. Red maple they start bringing in red maple, we'll start feeding them 2-to-1 sugar water. There's a cold front coming up here this week. I told him, I said, wait till the cold front, and maybe even wait till just about the 1st of February. He could probably go before that, but at least, you know, get through this cold front and then start feeding them. But that's about it. Just want to do a little update. Don't forget, we have sold, my goodness, so many packages and Nucs already. They're going like crazy. Our store has been doing so good. We've been selling a lot of equipment, and if you want your packages of Nucs, barnyardbees.com, and we got a lot of equipment there as well. Anything and everything pertaining to beekeeping. We got store number 706-971-2700. I'll put all the information below, and don't forget, click on the little bell. You'll be notified of new videos. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Barnyard Bees.